What does Jesus really look like? That's one of those questions where the answer has been shaped more by human imagination than historical reality. The image we have of him today is likely nothing like the man who walked ancient Judea. First, forget the pale, blue-eyed Jesus with the flowing shampoo commercial hair. That depiction is basically the product of Western art, particularly Renaissance painters who used European models for a Middle Eastern man. That version of Jesus? Pure cultural filter. If we turn to history, Jesus was a Jewish man living in the 1st century. He would have looked like other Jewish men of his time. The average male in that region stood about 5'5" and had brown skin, dark hair, and brown eyes. There's also the fact that the climate of Judea shaped his appearance. He likely had a rugged complexion from years of living in a dry, sunny environment. Think olive skin, darkened by the sun, and features weathered by hard manual labor. Another key point, Jesus wasn't a king or a nobleman. He was a carpenter, or more accurately, a tekton, which means he probably worked with stone as much as wood. Translation? He was likely strong, lean, and muscular from physical labor. The Gospels themselves don't describe his physical appearance. Why? Because it wasn't important to the people writing the texts. What mattered was his message, not his jawline. If he looked striking, someone probably would have mentioned it. If anything, Isaiah 53 suggests the opposite. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. This implies Jesus was unremarkable in appearance, a regular guy you'd pass on the street. Pain point? People want a connection. They want to see Jesus as someone relatable or iconic. That's why every culture reimagines him differently. In Ethiopia, he's portrayed as Ethiopian. In Japan, he looks Japanese. People reshape his image. Pro tip, if you want a historically accurate image of Jesus, look at forensic reconstructions based on 1st century Semitic skulls. The BBC did one years ago, and it showed a round-faced man with a short beard and curly, close-cropped hair. Another thing to consider, Jesus probably didn't care about his appearance because vanity was counter to his teachings. He wasn't there to impress with looks. He was there to revolutionize how people thought, lived, and loved. And let's be real, our modern obsession with looks probably says more about us than it does about Jesus. You think the guy flipping tables in the temple was worried about what people thought of his nose? Doubtful. Ultimately, Jesus' appearance is secondary to his life and message. Whether he looked majestic or ordinary doesn't change the fact that he's one of the most influential figures in human history. People followed him for his words, not his features. So maybe the better question isn't, what did Jesus look like? But why do we keep trying to put him in our image? It's a reflection of humanity's need to transform divine truths into something we can visualize and maybe control.